What's going on, guys and girls? How you doing today? Single Roleplay here once again. Today I want to talk a little about one thing that really caught my attention and caught me by surprise, honestly, because I could not believe what I saw. And if you are following Path of Exile, you probably know that Path of Exile has been an indie company for many years, and this May it has actually been purchased by a Chinese conglomerate giant called Tencent. Tencent is a big Chinese company. They are the biggest investor in the world. They own many different things, like different communicating programs, different games in both the US, Europe, in China. They are a publisher in China as well. They are publishing Path of Exile in China. So they came to agreement with the Grinding Games this year to purchase the majority of stock of Grinding Games and to invest into Grinding Games. And so Grinding Games kind of stopped being an indie company at this point and became kind of a company owned by another company, which is Tencent. I'm fucking surprised it was discovered that Tencent in 2013 actually did a buyout of a little Activision Blizzard and helped them to with the merging with Vivendi and all this shit, and they bought 5% of Activision Blizzard in 2013. This was an absolute fucking surprise for me personally. I had no idea about this. And basically, look at this. Tencent was one of the several big investors that helped Activision Blizzard COE Bobby Kotick repurchase the company shares from Vivendi in 2013. Tencent still owns a 5% stake in Activision, which is worth about $2.5 billion after the stock's 400% rally over the past 5 years. Back in 2015, Activision partnered with Tencent to bring Call of Duty Online to China as a free-to-play game with in-game microtransactions. The partnership enhances Tencent's gaming business, which owns hit titles as League of Legends, Clash of Clans, Arena of Valor. The growth of these titles lifted Tencent's online gaming revenues by 48% annually last quarter. This is pretty fresh article. At the same time, this is really interesting what happened with the Activision Blizzard stock just after the BlizzCon. As you can see, that there's the stock, which is about 70 here, and then it drops to about like 65 or something. So they lost quite a lot just after BlizzCon, and a lot of people were happy about this because investors kind of saw that Blizzard is not really worth investing at this point. I believe I'm not an investment guru of any kind, but I believe the stock data overall reflects the interest and the Activision Blizzard and overall in the interest as a company for future potential outcome of it. And if the stock data drops and the intraday chart kind of drops, it means that the interest drops as well. And as we can potentially see here, the interest kind of rises a bit, but overall it's still much lower than it was before BlizzCon started. That's a really curious thing. So what it means for the gaming community, for Diablo as well, basically it means that Tencent owns the majority of stake in Path of Exile as well as 5% in Activision Blizzard. So technically Tencent owns all Path of Exile and a portion of Diablo, and basically I think that at this point there's a huge impact of Chinese companies on the Activision Blizzard with such a large investment, and Tencent is the 4th largest investor in Activision Blizzard at this point. So imagine how much of impact the Chinese microtransaction online conglomerate company has on Activision Blizzard and the games they provide. I think that has been growing, and that NetEase Games is just a bit of a small, you know, a small berry on top of a giant, you know, pie that Chinese company Tencent is. That is just a very small gaming company that just makes games, but Tencent is like a giant boss that literally pours in money when needed, and when they see some kind of potential, just come and pour in all the money, and they then years later they take all the cream of the crop from it. So this is it, what happening, guys. China is overtaking Activision Blizzard, I believe, at this point. And overall, I recommend you to read some articles about the Activision Blizzard. It's quite interesting. Who is the stock owners of the Activision Blizzard? It's quite an interesting read. I read all of it, and it's quite interesting, guys. This is a bit of information I wanted to tell you guys, and it really raises like an eyebrow for me personally, because I had no idea Tencent is involved in Activision Blizzard at all, like in Diablo in general. How the fuck can be such a connection even happen? But now this was discovered, and is actually a reality. Tencent owns a part of Activision Blizzard, as well as Grinding Games and Path of Exile. This is it, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.